Hey guys, welcome back. This is gonna be the lab number 1 from HTTP request smuggling vulnerability module, and in today's lab we are gonna see content length transfer encoding vulnerability via differential responses. Okay, so let's see. The lab description is saying this lab involves a front-end and back-end server, and front-end server does not support chunk encoding. That means transfer encoding. Okay. To solve the lab, smuggle a request to the backend server so that a subsequent request for / that means the web root, triggers a 404 not found response. Okay, there is a note that saying although the lab supports HTTP version 2, the intended solution requires techniques that are only possible in HTTP version 1. You can manually switch protocols in burp repeater from the request attribute section of the inspector panel. I'm gonna start the lab. Okay, so this is our lab, and you can see all of the requests are being passed through my burp proxy, and this is the very first request. So everything is fine. We just need to check out how front-end and back-end server process the request. Okay, so we need to perform a CL.TE HTTP request smuggling vulnerability. I'm just going to send this request to the repeater. Okay, and here in the repeater, what I'm gonna do is just send the request to make sure the request is working fine. Now I'm gonna change first of all the request method from get to post, and then I'm just going to delete all of these. I don't need that, any of these request headers. Okay, now what I need to do here, I need to add content length. So here content length is 0. We will fix that. Now we need to add here transfer encoding. So TRAN as transfer encoding, and the transfer encoding request header value is going to be chunked. Okay, sorry, fine. Now mention the chunk size, which is 0 byte. So the chunk size 0 byte means the message ends here, and then enter, and after enter I'm just going to pass another request within the same request. So the method is going to be the get method / let's say anything. Okay, let's say there is an endpoint to test it, just I say anything, and I'm gonna say HTTP /1.1. This is gonna be the version of HTTP I'm using, and then I'm gonna say x ignore. Okay, and this header value x ignore is x or anything you want. Fine. Now the content length, let's say I'm gonna put here 35, let's say. And one more thing which is most important, that after this x header you do not need to go to the new line or pass here the new line. Okay, because the request it will take only up to here, not to the next line. So there is one more important part here which I think I should describe a bit. If you maybe do not understand or do not know about this, or you see first time, so for the beginner I should describe it, what is x ignore header and why I put it here. So this is basically a non-standard HTTP header, and this is being used to bypass security for development, so that browsers use security headers like X framework, X frame options to prevent clickjacking attacks by blocking X frame. So developers use extensions to temporarily bypass this security for testing or development purpose. Okay, but using these ignore solutions for anything other than temporary or for the development purpose or troubleshooting can expose users to security vulnerability like clickjacking or other attacks. Okay, so just send the request once, and you can see we get the 200 response. So once the front end server see it see the complete request, and because it consider and it process only the content length, so it see the complete request and send it to the backend server. Now once this request go to the backend server will interpret this transfer encoding chunked, and because the 0 transfer encoding 0 byte means the message ends here, so the backend server will consider this as a separate request or a starting of the other request. Now one thing, if I send the request again, I will again get the 200. Okay, we should see the response from this request, and because the slash endpoint slash anything endpoint does not exist, so we should see here not found, but we do not get that intended result. Why? Because we should use here HTTP version 1 or 1.1. okay, so how you will do this, go to the inspector, and here in the inspector, if you see the request attributes, here you can select HTTP 1 protocol. Okay, so this is the first thing. So you can see it's automatically changed to 1.1 once I change it from the inspector request attribute HTTP 1. Fine. So if I send the request one time, you see 200. Okay, front end handle it and send it to the backend. Backend server see the transfer encoding chunked and see the 0 byte, which means the message ends here and the second request is started. So the second time once I send the request, it will process the next request, which is this one, and because slash anything endpoint does not exist, so it says not found. Okay, so and that's it. And if you go back to the browser, you can see your lab is solved. Now one more thing we need to understand, that if you click on this /n, which is going to show you the non-printable characters, okay, so this is basically the actual request where you have new line after every character or after every line. Okay, or at the end of the line you will always have /r/n for the new line. Okay, so that's it for this video. It was easy to understand and to test. I hope you understand it. If you have any query, you can put your query in the comment section. I'm gonna respond on that as soon as possible, and we will see more complicated labs in the future. For now, we finished the lab. If you like the content, please like, subscribe and share. I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye.